getting started with Selenium, as I told you that the major objective of the training is to help you develop a framework. Okay, but before that, we have to start from the very basics, and let's start with introduction to Java and basic downloads and configuration of Selenium today, and then we will move over to the late object oriented programming and all later on. Fine. Now talking a little bit about Selenium first. Okay, and if you open the website of Selenium, just a minute, the official website of Selenium is selenium.dev. Okay, under the about this tool, basically it's very simple. Selenium is a tool which helps you automate browsers. Okay, it is for automating web browsers only, not for desktop applications. Fine. And it started in 2004. I worked on it for the first time in 2007. Okay, that time it was very different. It has evolved a lot in past 10 to 12 years, and I don't want to go into the evolvement process, but yes, the versions have changed a lot. And right now in the market, since past few months, Selenium 4.0 has come up. Okay, but it is not stable. It's got some new features. It's got everything. I will talk about few of the features of this Selenium 4 as well in the training. Okay, so but it is not so stable. The latest stable version, they also say, is 3.141.49, and you will find that this is being used by most of the companies. This version is there in the market since many years. Majorly in past 2 years, what I have seen is that there is no major change in Selenium. Okay, since 2 years, there has been not many major changes in Selenium. It's been stable, but right now they have come up with this version which has few major changes. Okay, which I don't want to go into right now. Okay, you might not be able to understand. Okay, but the question with us is that whether we'll go with alpha or whether we'll go with 3.141.59. There are few bugs in this 4 version as well. Okay, but whatever are the commands in 3.141.59, majorly 99% of the commands are working over here as well in Selenium 4. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's download, we'll download this 4 version and work on this, and we'll see what issues we face in the alpha version and how we can correct them as well. Okay, fine. And it is not that you have to work on the last stable version. As a learner, you can work on any of them. Okay, I'm just preferring this one because this is the latest one going forward. Okay, and Selenium is available in many languages. Okay, it is available in Ruby, Java, Python, C#, JavaScript. Okay, so it's available in many languages. The reason for that is, how come this tool can be coded in so many languages? It's very simple. If you talk about the automation language or the language of the browsers, fine. If this is my browser, this is my any browser. Okay, then browser understands the language JavaScript. Fine, it's not Java. Java is very different from JavaScript. Okay, it's a scripting language, JavaScript. It's the language of the browsers. Basically, browsers understand this language. Fine, and Selenium as a tool is available in different languages. It is available in Java, Python, C#, Ruby. Fine. No matter which language you are writing the code, eventually that code commands, they convert into JavaScript commands, and these JavaScript commands are fired on the browser. This is just a overview which I have given you. Exactly, it doesn't happen like this. Okay, but as a layman, as a beginner, you can understand that this is the general flow. Okay, and that is why Selenium is available in different languages. No matter which language you are writing your Selenium code, the code will generate commands which ultimately get converted into JavaScript commands, which get fired on the browser, and browser understands the JavaScript commands. Fine. Now the major challenge in front of us is that, suppose if you are learning Selenium with Java. Okay, see, this is the last stable release, 3.141.59, the last stable version, and it was in November 2018. Since past 2 years there hasn't been much of a change. Okay, in March 2020 they released alpha. Okay, we'll talk about this. Fine, not right now, but I'm just telling you that this tool is quite stable now. If you had picked up, say, this tool in 2012 or 13, then there were a lot of bugs inside it at that time, and gradually over a period of time this has stabilized. Fine. Now if you look at the API docs over here, fine, this is the official documentation of Selenium. Most of you might not be able to understand this, because to understand this you need to learn Java, and in Java, as I told you, you will have to understand the concepts of object oriented programming, which we will be starting off. Fine. Okay, and moreover, whenever the new version of Selenium is released, there is a change log which comes up on their website. Okay, these are small things, but you need to understand this change log will contain whatever changes have happened in each version of Selenium. Fine. So there is a big list of change log right from the very initial version 2.1, which was released in 2011. Okay, so although comprehending changes from these small lines is very tough, okay, but still we are with experience you get to know about it. Look, Selenium is an open source tool. Okay, there are advantages for this, disadvantages for this. The advantage is that you have a big community, it is free, and on online blogs and all you get help. When you face issues, there is a big community to help you because a lot of people use it. Okay, the disadvantage is that, fine, it's got a very poor documentation. Fine, like for example, they have said that to use Selenium server configuration, see the documentation. If I open the documentation, then this documentation is not on 4.0 version, it's on 3.141.59. Whenever something changes, it's really tough to understand what exactly has changed. Fine, gradually you settle down with things. Fine. Anyways, okay, let us start with the training now. I had to give you a brief background. Okay, now one last question which almost everybody has with me is that how much time will it take to learn this tool? Okay, the thing is, if you want to learn it just for understanding purpose, it will just take you 10 days. In 10 days you can learn this tool. But if you want to learn it to a level where you can go confidently and clear an interview, or if you want to learn it to a level where you can maybe work on a project. Okay, right, like I told you, if somebody gives you 5,000 test cases to automate, you have to do that. To reach this level, it takes you minimum 8 weeks. Okay, this training which you are into right now can definitely help you out, but even after the training you will have to practice a lot. It is not that after this training of maybe 6 to 8 weeks which we are sitting into right now, you will become an expert. No, it's not going to happen like that. Okay, you have to practice a lot, and this tool is something that until or unless you are not practicing after going to the after going back from the training, okay, this will never come to you. Fine. So whatever I'm teaching in the training, I request you guys to please spare out at least 1 to 2 hours a day. Initially you might not feel the need, okay, but please spare out at least 1 to 2 hours, because gradually as we proceed, and if you lag behind, then I see a lot of people asking me that they'll join the next course or something. Okay, so this will never come to you. You will never be able to learn this tool if you are not giving in time to practice. Okay, I'll be giving you practice exercises and all from day 7 onwards. Fine, not in the beginning. Okay, so let us start with this. Fine. The first thing is I gave you a brief introduction, something about the course, history of Selenium. Why is Java important? Because we are learning Selenium with Java. It's the backbone. Without this, you cannot do that. Okay, and the first thing is installing JDK. Look, this is again a thing where people get stuck up. Okay, if I write over here a JDK download, which is actually Java download basically, okay, then Oracle is the website from where you can download. Fine, and the latest version is 14. Fine, but Selenium supports JDK 8. Officially it's written on their website as well. JDK 8 is supported, and you have to download JDK 8 in your machine. It is not that JDK 8 is old. JDK 8 is the most stable version of Java. Fine, it is used by most of the companies. Fine, and it's got support till 2030. Okay, so there is not a problem in using JDK 8. Fine, you can download it for your operating system from here. You will have to create an account on Oracle. Okay. Sorry, when you try to download this, it will ask you user ID password. You'll have to create an account on oracle.com and download JDK 8. So don't install JDK 14, please install JDK 8. Fine, because otherwise you can get issues. Fine, the next thing is downloading Eclipse. Most of you must be knowing about Eclipse. Eclipse is the editor of Java language. Fine, you write Java code inside it. Fine, so you just go to Google and type download Eclipse. You can download any version, Eclipse, Oxygen and all, anything. Okay, you can go to the Eclipse download section and download the 64-bit version for your machine. Okay, so there are different versions, it doesn't matter. Fine, you can download any one. Fine, as a beginner it's okay. Now once you have your Eclipse downloaded and installed, okay, the icon will appear on the desktop. You just have to start up Eclipse. Most of you must be knowing these small things which I am telling you on the first day, but because we are starting from the very beginning, that's why I am starting with Eclipse. This is the launcher window which has the workspace path. Workspace means the place on the hard drive where you will be storing all the code and all. So for this batch I will make a new workspace, that is May 2020. Fine, and hold on, let me launch Eclipse. Right, so this is your Eclipse window, Eclipse editor. Fine, and just a minute, let me increase the font size of this editor so that it is very clear to you. Right, so you can create a new project in Eclipse. You can go to file, new Java project. Fine, and you can give the project name as say day 1, okay, or Selenium learning. Alright, and this is the project which is created. Okay, it's got a source folder. Inside this source folder we will be keeping the code and all everything. Fine. This is JRE system library. This is nothing but Java which was installed on your PC. Fine. You can close this task list outline and all. Alright. And I'll just create a new class. Right click on the source folder, new class. Right. And I will call it Selenium Basics. Okay. Right. Now, a blank Java file will not execute. You have to have a main function inside it. Okay, main function is present in almost all the programming languages. Fine, it is the starting point. Okay, now I am assuming in this particular training that you know the basics. You know what int is, integer is, you know what string is, you know what loopings are, you know what functions are. Okay, because you know I cannot start from the very basics because there are a lot of things which have to be done. Right, I am assuming that you know very basic things, that what integer is and what string is. Alright, because I want to go inside, my basic motive is to start off with object oriented programming. Fine, okay, but yes, I'll come over to it gradually. Let me talk about few basic things. In Java, if you have to print something, the command is system.out.println. Okay, shortcut is SYSO and you hit control spacebar. Okay, and you type hello there. Right, and this is the run button. You can click on this and your program will execute. Fine. Okay, now the thing is, there is a concept of, like, this is a Java file. Selenium Basics is a Java file, right, in which we can write some code, we can print something. I can print the value of the variable, say I can write I is, and I can use the plus is the concatenator operator. I can print the value of I, it will print I is 100. Fine. Now in Java there is a concept of class file. Okay, if I right click on this project, I will get a lot of options. We will be using these options in the training. One of the options is properties. In the properties option, under resource, you will find the folder path where your project is lying. Okay, this is the physical location, the initial path which we had given while launching Eclipse, the workspace path. Okay, it is actually this particular path. If I click on this icon, this will open the workspace Selenium Learning folder inside your folder explorer. Fine. Now in this you see different folders and files, out of which only the source file is visible inside Eclipse. Fine. This particular source folder is visible in Eclipse. Fine. There is something known as bin folder as well, in which you will find Selenium Basics.class file. Every Java file is converted to a class file. This class file is like the executable file. Okay, it can be deployed on any operating system and it can be executed. Okay, Java is a platform independent language. You make the code in one language, in one operating system, you can actually run the same code in different operating systems. This class file I can run on different operating systems. If you try to open this class file, you won't be able to understand anything. Okay, it's not binary, it is some other language. Fine. So even if I make a new class over here, say print name, You check on this checkbox, public static void main, right, and I just print over here Selenium. Fine, and if I run this, it will print Selenium, and over here you will see print name.class file has generated. Okay, right. Now what happens in a project is that generally we have lot of class files. In a project we have lot of class files, and when the class files have to be deployed on the server, or they have to given to the client, fine, we put all the class files in a single file known as a jar file. This is just like you create a zip file sometimes, and zip file contains lot of files, right? So similarly, so in our project at times you get lot of class files, and you have to give, suppose if you have 2000 class files and you have to give those class files to someone. Okay, so what we do is that we actually create a single file known as a jar file which contains all the class files. Fine, and if you look at this carefully, Java which is installed on your system, if you expand this is nothing but collection of jar files. Okay, which has got lot of internal classes which we can use. For example, if I write over here system.out.println new date, date is one of the classes which is present inside one of these jar files. Okay, and let me import this. You have to import it, java.util.date. Okay, you have to import it from one of the jars. Fine, and when I run this code, it prints the current date and time. Okay, I never had to make any effort to calculate the current date time. What is this new? Don't get confused right now. What is static? I will come over to all these things when I start off with object oriented programming. But the motive right now which I am telling you is that my motive is to make you understand what jars are. In jars you have got predefined functionalities. This date class is present somewhere inside the jar file. Okay, and I am using it to just print the current date and time. I never had to put an effort to calculate the date and time. Right, same thing is with Selenium. In Selenium, all the commands are inbuilt. All commands in Selenium are inbuilt. You just need to, understand the commands. That's it. Okay. Right. For example, if you go to the official website of Selenium and if you go to the downloads, you will see the latest 4 alpha version. You click on this. Now, this will actually go and download a jar file. Okay, a jar file which like I have on my PC. This is the jar file which has downloaded. Fine, this jar has got all the features and all everything. Fine, if I just go to my project and include this jar in the project, okay, there is there is no special way. You just have to right click on the project, go to the properties. Fine, go to the Java build path option, the fourth one from the top. You will see different tabs over here. Go to the libraries tab, click on add external jars. Fine, and you add the jars of of Selenium server. Okay, 4.0 alpha 5, and that's it. Your project is now Selenium enabled. Okay, under reference libraries section you will see this jar file coming up. Okay, and that means your project is Selenium enabled. Selenium is not installed. There is no exe for Selenium. You just have to include this jar having features, having different features. Okay, and all the commands and all will be inbuilt in Selenium and they will be using the features of this jar file. Fine. For example, on my PC, if I write new Chrome driver, so what will happen is that on your PC this command will not work initially. Okay, in my PC this will work because there are few settings which you need to do as well. So this opens a blank Chrome browser. So this is the command to actually start off with the browser. Fine. So how is this happening? We will look at it later on. Okay. So the thing is, basic thing is that you need to understand the commands in Selenium, and to understand the commands in Selenium you need to understand the official documentation in Selenium as well, the API docs. Okay, and for understanding this you have to understand OOPS, object oriented programming. Many times people tell that fine, they know OOPS, they have studied about it, but knowing OOPS and practically applying it, these are two different fundamentals. Fine, but anyways, I'll move ahead. Fine. Now the next thing is that you need to understand debugging as well. This is also important. Okay, as a beginner, at times you are stuck, at times you really don't know how things are running in the program or where the error is coming up. Okay, so in the very beginning, in the very first class, I am teaching you debugging so that in the coming future it helps you a lot. Right, suppose you have written 100-line code and you really don't know where the error is happening or coming. So debugging helps us over here to run the code line by line. Okay, for example, I write over here int j equals to 100 and I print j plus 10. Okay, and I add 10 to j and I print the value of j. Fine, and I print 3 lines, j plus 10, j plus 20, j plus 30. Okay, so of course if I run this will give me this output. Find that j plus 10 is 110, 20 is 120. Right, now in this program I can put something known as a breakpoint. For example, in front of this line I can double click, put a breakpoint. You will see a small dot appearing. Fine, and I can run it in the debug mode by clicking on this small debug icon on the top left corner. Fine, when you run this and you switch over to the debug profile, fine, this runs and it highlights the first line. Okay, right, it switches to the debug perspective. This is known as the debug perspective, and you can click on F6 of the keyboard, and if you hit F6 this line will be executed. If you keep on hitting F6, the lines, they keep on executing. See, it is printing hello there, and on the left side you will see a variables panel. Over here you will see all the variables in your program. For example, I, the value for which is 100, S, the value for which is hello. Okay, if I move the mouse over the variable, say variable I, you will also see the runtime value. So debugging can help you look at the runtime values of the variables. Now suppose j comes up, I hit F6, the value of j is 100. Fine, and you keep on hitting F6 and it will keep on printing the statements. So at runtime you can see what is happening with the value of variables. If I hit F8, this will run like a normal Java program. Fine. So F6 is to execute line by line. This is really important because later on, when you are stuck and when you really don't know what to do, this is the only thing which is going to help you out. Okay, F8 will help you run it normally. If I write a for loop, say for int k equals to 0 to k less than 10, fine, and k plus plus. So if I write over here k cross 6, and if I run it in debug mode, fine, I'll put one breakpoint on this line, the other breakpoint on 22nd line. So you can put multiple breakpoints in your program as well. Fine, and you can run it in the debug mode again. The code stops on the first line, you hit F6, it will run line by line. If I hit F8, this will run normally and stop on the next breakpoint. Fine, and it is printed everything in between. And if you hit F6 now, this will run the for loop again. Okay, so they see that this is running the for loop. It is printing the table of 6 basically. Okay, and you can see the value of k increasing on the right section. The runtime value of k will increase. Now it will become 7. You see that? So the real values of the variables you can check out from the right panel, or you can move the mouse over the variables as well and check their values. Fine, you hit F8, it will run normally. Fine, so this is how you debug your programs. Okay, small thing, but you know it is a lifesaver at times. You can switch back. This is known as the debug perspective. Perspective means a view. In Eclipse, this is the debug view, debug perspective. You can change your perspective. You click on this small icon, open perspective on the top right, and switch back to the Java perspective. You will get the older window. Fine. Now, as a beginner, at times people commit some mistakes. For example, you close Package Explorer by mistake, and then you really don't know how will you be bringing this back. Okay, you can simply go to Windows Show View, Package Explorer, and this will come back. Okay, in Windows Show View, you have got all the views which you want to see. Generally, in the beginning, you are just interested with Package Explorer and the console. Fine. Okay. Now, anybody having any questions? Anyone with any questions regarding this or regarding anything? Anything? Regarding the course, regarding the training, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Yeah, thank you. Right. So now, look, I have been teaching since past 8 to 9 years, so I know what people ask. So that's the thing. Now the thing, yeah, tell me. Yes, 5 days a week, 1 hour every day. In Indian timings, Monday to Friday. In US timings, Sunday evenings to Thursday evenings. Okay, yeah. Now, the next thing which we are going to learn is object oriented programming. Okay, today was the first introductory day. I am not taking a very longer class. Okay, I'll stop here for today. Okay, but from tomorrow onwards we will be jumping over to OOPS and all, and we will be really going towards Selenium concepts as well. We will study different drivers and all. Okay, and gradually we'll study more concepts in Java and Selenium, and then we'll study TestNG as well. TestNG helps you to write test cases. Okay, and this is what we need to, it's a unit testing framework. We need to learn this as well. Look, the thing is, it's not just about learning Selenium. Okay, uh, yeah, Sushma, I'll help you out with the interview questions by the end of the course. Fine. Now, as I told you that it's not just about learning Selenium. Fine. Uh, there are many other things as well. Look, when you have test cases to automate, fine. Suppose if client gives you say 1000 test cases or 500 test cases to automate, fine. Then, you know, suppose you end up writing your Selenium scripts like this. These are your Selenium scripts. Okay, but apart from writing Selenium scripts, there are many other things, like you have to generate reports. Okay, and after generation of the reports, maybe you want some logs in the reports. Logs means that a detailed description for every test case in the report, that what happened with it. You may want screenshot of the reports, that if there is some error or if there is not any error, you just need to put the screenshot in the reports. Fine. And you might want to email the reports as well to the team members. Okay. Apart from reporting infrastructure, you would want that you have the data being read from properties file, from say XML files or Excel files or JSON files. Basically, you don't want to put the data inside these scripts, inside these test cases. These are my test cases, Selenium test cases. Okay, and moreover, apart from that, you want to implement various things in the project like Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid we will be learning about later on. Grid helps you to actually automate the test cases parallelly. Okay, you can run the test cases parallelly on different machines in order to save time basically. Okay, so you might want that you want to implement Grid, then you have to go for Jenkins GitHub integration. Okay, Jenkins and GitHub, I don't want to go into details of these tools. Okay, but they are quite easy to understand. Fine. But at times there is a requirement that you have to do this as well. Okay. So, if you talk about Selenium, then Selenium as a tool is just in this blue box. Selenium will have commands which will just interact with the browser. Okay, Selenium will not help us read data, it will not help us generate reports and all anything. Okay, so that is why we use a centralized controller in between. This centralized controller can be TestNG, it can be JUnit, it can be Cucumber BDD, which people use a lot these days. Fine. So what these controllers they do is that they help you write test cases. Okay, run them together in a batch. They help you generate the reports. They help you coordinate the data, read the data and then pass them over to the test cases. And they help you to integrate Jenkins and GitHub Grid and all. Okay. Apart from this, there are other things as well, like Maven is there. Okay, I don't want to go into that right now. Okay, so this is not just about learning WebDriver or Selenium. This is learning about lot of other things apart from Selenium. Okay, and then bringing them all together with Selenium so that a complete project infrastructure or a complete framework can be built. Okay, this whole diagram is just an overview of a framework of an end-to-end project. Okay, framework is basically an end-to-end project, and this is what the objective of the training is. Fine, and it's going to take time and lot of efforts for you to understand and actually learn this. Fine, so I'll stop here for today.